Yo, teacher.
Yo.
Yeah, born firm and solid.
First and foremost, free the whole world, boss. I am your gracious host, Caspian Montgomery. Welcome, Gaza Nation, to another episode of the Vybz Kartel Show. Ladies and gentlemen, the boss has been working in overdrive lately. Today, we are going to be explaining Vybz Kartel and Chronic Law. Yes, the 6 is real, and the name of the song is Can't Kill We, and we will be explaining it to the patois illiterate. So without further ado, Chronic Law, please begin.
Them know them can't win, but them still a fight. We as them get a food, them chop asleep like them have niggeritis. We work hard, the money flowing like a riverside. Me send Thomas want fix the road, them bad, so me go link some Chinese.
Mr. Law begins the first verse by telling us that they already know that they have lost. The opposition cannot win, but they are still trying to fight, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. You should just be claiming Gaza and the 6. And then he says, as we are getting our money, the rest of them, they are falling asleep at their job. They're not dropping enough songs. Their work ethic is very lazy. And on the other hand, the 6's work ethic is just amazing. So the money is flowing in from all angles. It's flowing in like a river. And when he gets enough money, he comes from St. Thomas, and the roads in St. Thomas apparently are very bad. There's many potholes, so he's going to link some Chinese people, because apparently the Chinese in Jamaica are very good at rebuilding roads. So when he gets enough money, he's going to take care of his own community, and that is very commendable.
Uptown the thing tougher than a lignum vitally. Man, if them this the king, I'm more than 40 rifle rising. Many have dogs at GP and some in are rising. Them a forget with them need them can't get no styling.
Sir Chronic is quite the lyricist. He begins by telling us that Uptown, and Uptown I believe is a very nice part of Jamaica, he says it is tougher than the lignum vitae, and that is the national flower of Jamaica, and it translates in Latin to the tree of life. That is a very powerful lyric. And then he tells us, if you diss the king of the dancehall, more than 40 rifles will be rising, so just get that thought out of your head immediately. And then he tells us he has friends in GP, and he also has friends in Horizon. And I believe that Horizon is an adult remand center, and GP stands for General Population, where I come from. And I believe he is talking about prison references. So then he says his friends that are stuck in these centers and in these prisons, they have to fight every single day to get food, to get the basic things we take for granted on the outside. They can't even get stylings. They can't go buy Gucci. They can't buy new clocks. They are fighting every single day just to eat.
The style me use, I confuse them, is like a Chinese writing. I got telescope, I find him swell up like a cobra bite him. Me stove, I like the fire blaze like stone, they got up rising. More house, I build the tiling, Chris the Mason up the styling.
Then, out of nowhere, our great Gaza leader comes in with his vocals, and he tells us right away that the style he is using will confuse us all like Chinese calligraphy. And that is such a true statement, because even the Asian people themselves do not use it. They actually put most of their signs in English, because it is very hard to write and understand that language. And then he says that the Hiko telescope will find them, and I'm just imagining that is a very high-powered rifle scope, and when it does find them, the bullets will swell him up like a cobra bit him. Wow, these lyrics are just amazing. And then he says his stove will light the fire blaze like the stony gut uprising, and that is a head nod to the legendary Paul Bogle, the man who went against the government. if you do not know more about it, please look up the Morant Bay uprising and educate yourself. And then he says, we have more houses to build. The tilings in the house will be immaculate because the masons have the stylings. And that is another powerful line. If you do not know, the Freemasons' symbol is the compass and the square. And the masons are responsible for architecture. All the buildings that we have in the world, they were designed, the blueprint was designed by the Masons. They are not a nefarious group, as everyone seems to think. They are the cornerstone of architecture in our world. Bravo, Vybz Kartel. This is too much knowledge in just 4 bars.
Get money Friday night, me gal in at the bed the night it tear me fix her like the nightly breathing her is highly likely. No left me crept me Nike, some bike I ride beside me. The thugs them out no ID check no take if bank no write it.
One Dawn then tells us that on Friday night he is out getting money and his woman is waiting for him in the bed, and then when he gets home he is going to tear up her vagina, and then it will have to be fixed nightly. And that is a head nod to the podcast, the Jamaican podcast, The Nightly Fix. Another genius line. And then he says, breeding her is highly likely. So you all know that he has many pickney, and she is apparently going to be another candidate to have a Gaza prince or princess. And then he says, but he never leaves his crepes. He never leaves his Nikes behind, and that is a slang word for a firearm. So his firearms are not left anywhere out of sight. And then he says some bikers will be riding beside him when he's out. The thugs are out, and there's no way to hide that. You will all know that it's Gaza when they are coming down the street. And then he tells us, this is a bit of information we should all retain. He says, I will not take a check from anyone unless it comes from the bank. So it must be a bank check in order for me to even accept it. Wonderful lyrics. And with that last line, we have reached the glorious chorus.
Them can't kill way. When we did the hustle for the money where you're there. And no money make we bad. Me make you live, you shoulda glad. See me with me things and them a mad. Where the fuck you no go hustle for your bag? Them boy they shaky like a flag. Them not even them where we have.
TJ, I will tell them. This beat is simply amazing. This chorus is just immaculate. This entire song, for fans of real music, of real lyricists, this song is just #1 in my books, especially for the year 2019. Vybz begins by telling us, you cannot kill the Gaza, you cannot kill the Six. And then he says, when we were out grinding, when we were out hustling, when we were out making a name for ourselves, getting money for ourselves, what were you doing? Probably watching us and complaining on Instagram. And then he says, the money makes us bad, but we were bad before the money. And then he says, and you are very lucky that I'm even letting you live at this point, you know? You should just be happy every single day that you are still alive. And then he says, when you see us with everything, with the Mercedes-Benzes, with the Balenciagas, you are vexed, you are jealous, you are envious, you are angry. I don't understand people who have this mindset. And then he says, why didn't you just go out and hustle for your bag? How come you didn't have the same work ethic? Why didn't you go out and work hard for your money instead of complaining about the next man? And that is why those boys are shaky like a flag. And I just love this lyric. When you think about a flag and waving in the wind, that is how shaky these men are. They cannot be trusted. They do not have the venom that Gaza has. They do not have the drive. They do not have the motivation. They do not have the intelligence that Gaza has to go out and hustle on your own and not be a bad mind. This chorus is one of my favorites, I swear.
Bull beer, born wild and wicked. Never move the jiffy, me clip on Mississippi. Tall like one bridge, me no fear nobody image. Money get friendly, no offend the energy sippy.
Chronic Law begins the second verse by letting us know from birth he was wild and wicked, and that just means that he is a very respectable man in the streets. And then he tells us that the rifle that he has an extended magazine, and that magazine is longer than the Mississippi River, and that is the longest river in the United States. So I'm very scared. If I ever saw that clip, I would run right away. And then he says he's tall, he stands tall on his own too, just like a bridge, and he doesn't fear anybody's image. And that is a very important line. Most people are faking their image for online, for the music business, and he can see right through that. And then he says his money is getting longer now. They are making money, like he said before, from all different angles. So now he is able to afford the finer things in life, the Fendi and the Giuseppes. This is just a wonderful, wonderful 4 bars.
Roll out on the cricket pitch, that's how we do the living. People are go dead if them want stop the life we live in. She mama sang, China girl want give me kitty. Say she name the puppy girl, you lucky me, I dig it.
The boss of all bosses then comes back in with a lyrical barrage, and he tells us when the Gaza rolls out, it's like a cricket pitch, and the sievings begin soon after. And then he says, people will die if they ever try to stop the Gaza way of life. And then he says quite a funny line. He says, Shishi Mama-san. And I know this to be Japanese because I lived there for 2 years. A Mama-san is a high-powered Japanese woman. She is usually in charge of other women. And then he says that Chinese girls want to give him kitty, so all the Asian women want to fornicate with the boss. And then he says that she's willing to nyam the puppy. She's willing to give him a blowjob. And that is quite a funny double entendre because we all do know that certain parts of Asia do actually eat canines. So he tells her that she is lucky that he is even fornicating with her, because usually he wouldn't do that with somebody that nyams dog, because this is not China.
We know nyam dog and no China this.
And with that last line, we have reached the glorious chorus once again.
Them can't kill we. When we did the hustle, see the money where you're there. And no money make we bad. Me make you live, you shoulda glad. See me with me things and them are mad. Where the fuck you no go hustle for your bag? Them boy they shake it like a flag. Them not even them where we have.
Gaza Nation, I would like to take a quick second to say happy 420 day to all those that celebrate. I, Caspian Mont Gaza, am in full support of the cannabis movement because I do not believe that cannabis is a drug. So for 420 day, I'm going to be smoking my oils from my palm pen. This is it will get you super high. I can't even tell you. It's solvent, premium distillant, and it is just like 98% THC. And then I also will be smoking a pre-rolled. This one is strawberry, and it is wrapped in keef. I'm going to also take that, and if I'm still awake after that, I am going to do something maybe you've never seen before. Some THC lean. This is just amazing stuff. This is fruit punch, and when you pour it up, it has the same color as real lean, but it doesn't have the side effects. It is not an opiate. It is pure THC. So I'm going to have quite a fun 420 day. Please tell me in the comments if you celebrate and you are of age what you are doing for 420 day.
Born firm and solid. Man, I survive them, I wonder who manage. No, every day me give my mother couple US, and me never yet go foreign, and we no do nothing average.
Mr. Law begins the third and final verse by telling us that from birth he was firm and solid, and that means he is a stand-up guy. And then he tells us that they survived everything that you threw at them. The Six survived it all, and they are just wondering how they managed to pull that off. And then he says now, since he made it through the storm, every single day he gives his mother a few US dollars, and he's never even gone across seas yet, so he's getting US money in Jamaica, and that is an amazing line. And the Six, they do not do anything normal. Nothing that they do is average. Everything they do is above average, because the Six is real.
See me with me things, I know you mix cause you know of it. More than one load, but you like chalice for them, I take them in all left it everywhere we carry it. Sharp down yo TJ.
Chronic Law then tells us that the haters, they see him with his newly acquired items, and they are very angry, very jealous, because sadly, Bad Mind is a real thing. And then he says that doesn't bother him because he has more than one firearm loaded and ready to go. And he says, for the automatic rifle, I presume, that he has, he doesn't leave it anywhere. It is always on his side. So please do not try and test the Six. And then he shouts out, bigs up Shabdon Records, the legendary up-and-coming producer, and the legend himself, TJ Records, and they deserve all the respect for the hits they continuously bring us. And with that last line, we've reached the end of a Chronic Law and Vybz Kartel masterpiece. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and continue growing this Gaza channel. I will not take up any more of your time, so until we meet again, it is Gaza, me say, forever.
Them can't kill we. When we did the hustle, see the money where you're there. And no money make we bad. Me make you live, you shoulda glad. See me with me things and them a mad. Where the fuck you no go hustle for your bag? Them boy they shake it like a flag. Them not even them where we have.